After cleaning their house for free and picking up the kids every day, I found my name removed from the emergency list at school. My daughter-in-law said, "We don't want you confusing them." My son just nodded. I sat in my car for 3 hours. Then I drove somewhere they'd never expect. I'm a 61-year-old grandma. I don't wear pearls or bake cookies every Sunday, but I'm the kind of woman who shows up. Always have been. I raised my son Matt on my own after my husband died in a freak car accident when Matt was 9. We didn't have much, but we made it work. I worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3 during holidays. I was tired most of the time, but I never let Matt see it. I made sure he had clean clothes, hot meals, and someone cheering at every school play or baseball game. I did everything I could to give him a better life. And it worked. Matt graduated from college, got a good job in finance, and married a woman named Jenna. From day one, she rubbed me the wrong way. She wasn't mean, exactly, just cold. Distant. The way she said, "thank you," always sounded like she was forced to. She never looked me in the eye. I figured it was nerves. I gave her time. A lot of time. When they had their first son, Tyler, things changed. Jenna quit her job and worked from home. Which really meant she sat on Zoom calls while I came over and took care of everything else. Feeding the baby. Cleaning the bottles. Folding laundry. Picking up groceries. All while Jenna posted pictures on Instagram about her mom life and daily grind. When their second boy, Mason, was born 2 years later, I was in even deeper. They said they couldn't afford daycare and asked if I could help. I said yes. I didn't think twice. I thought I was helping my son's family. I thought they appreciated me. I picked the boys up from school every day. I cleaned the house before they got home so Jenna wouldn't be overwhelmed. I ran errands. I cooked dinner sometimes. I did their dishes. I even walked their dog. And never, not once, did I ask for money. Not for gas. Not for time. Not for anything. I did it because I thought we were a family. Then one afternoon, everything changed. Tyler had a cold. His school called me to come pick him up. I had done this many times before, so I didn't think anything of it. I drove over, walked into the office, and told the receptionist I was there for Tyler. She looked at her screen, confused. "Sorry," she said. "You're not listed on his emergency contacts." I laughed, thinking it was a mistake. "I've picked him up at least a dozen times." She double-checked. "It looks like you were removed 2 weeks ago." I stood there like an idiot. I couldn't even speak. Removed? From my own grandson's contact list? I stepped outside, sat on the bench, and called Jenna. She picked up with her usual fake sweet voice. "Hey, what's up?" I asked calmly. "Did you remove me from the boys' school records?" She didn't even hesitate. "Yeah. We thought it was better that way." "Better how?" "We just don't want them getting confused. You've been acting like a second mom, and we think it's important they understand who their real parents are." I didn't know what to say. Then she added, "Also, we've got a new sitter, Tessa. She's younger, more in line with how we do things." Then she hung up. Just like that. Like I was a broken chair they were getting rid of. I called Matt. "My own son." He answered quiet. I asked, "Did you agree to this?" He sighed. "We talked about it. Jenna made some good points. You've been great, Mom. But we think it's time to shift some boundaries." I didn't even recognize his voice. I sat in my car in that school parking lot for 3 hours. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't call anyone. I just sat there. Numb. Then I drove to the one place I hadn't been in years, my mother's old house, up in Canton. I never sold it after she passed. Kept it in my name. Paid the taxes. Told myself I might rent it someday. That day, it became my shelter. That day, I made a decision. I was done being quiet. First thing I did was simple. I stopped showing up. No texts. No pickups. No cleaning. No dinners. I knew Jenna would panic fast. Her perfect little setup was cracking. 3 days later she texted. "Hey, just checking, are you okay? Haven't seen you around." I didn't answer. 4 days later Matt called. Left a voicemail. "Hey Mom, Jenna said she hasn't heard from you. Everything alright?" Still didn't answer. On the 6th day, Jenna left a message that said, "If you're trying to make a point, this is really immature." That one made me laugh. Then I got busy. I talked to my friend Bonnie. She runs a legit cleaning company. We drove to Matt and Jenna's house the next weekend. They were out at a vineyard or something. Jenna posted it on Facebook. I still had their house key. We cleaned that house top to bottom. Every baseboard. Every tile. I cleaned the spots I knew Jenna always missed, just to be petty. Then I took my key, put it in an envelope with a note that said, "One final favor. Good luck keeping it clean without me. Mom." Then I changed the locks. It wasn't illegal, they owned the place, but I wanted them to feel locked out, just like I had. I mailed them the new keys 2 days later. No note. No apology. Just silence. And silence started to eat at them. But I wasn't finished. I called the school and asked about why I was removed. They said it was by parent request. Legal parents have the right to make that decision. Then I asked a question that changed everything. If I'm the legal guardian, do I get to make the decisions? They said yes. So I went to a lawyer. It took 8 weeks of back and forth. My lawyer helped me file a case for temporary guardianship, on the grounds that Matt and Jenna had relied on me as the primary caregiver for 2 years straight with no compensation or legal agreement. I had text messages, pictures, timestamped call logs from the school, calendars showing me picking them up almost every day. The lawyer warned me it was a long shot. But we got a hearing. Matt looked shocked when he saw me in court. Jenna didn't look at me once. I had everything printed. Organized. Ready. Jenna tried to say I was just the grandma. That they'd never asked me to take on so much. But I had a message from Jenna, sent last December. "Hey, can you keep the boys overnight again? I've got a migraine and Matt's working late." I had over 30 of those. The judge gave me 90 days temporary guardianship while Matt and Jenna completed a family structure review process. They were speechless. And the boys? They ran to me the second they saw me. They didn't even look back. I moved them into my old house. I got bunk beds. I painted the rooms. I signed them up for summer programs. I took them to parks, cooked meals with them, and let them stay up late watching old cartoons. I saw real smiles again. I wasn't trying to replace anyone. I was just being who I've always been. Their family. By the second month, things started getting messy. Matt and Jenna were not taking the situation well. Matt showed up at my house unannounced one Saturday morning. No warning. Just banged on the door like he was the damned sheriff. The boys were in the kitchen with me making pancakes. When they heard the knock, they froze. Tyler whispered, "Is that Dad?" I told them to keep cooking, and I went outside. Matt was standing there, jaw tight, arms crossed. "You made your point," he said. I stared at him. "Excuse me? You've humiliated us. You got what you wanted. Now give us our kids back." I laughed. "You think this is about payback?" He didn't respond. I kept going. "I'm the only stable person those boys have known. You and Jenna used me for free childcare, ignored me, cut me out, and now that someone told you no, you're throwing a tantrum." Matt stepped forward, lowering his voice. "We're their parents. And I'm their grandmother," I said. "The one who raised you. The one who fed them, bathed them, taught them how to hold a spoon and tie their shoes while Jenna was busy being exhausted and you were checking emails on the couch." He glared at me. "This isn't over." "You're right," I said. "It's just starting." Then I shut the door. The next week, I got a letter from their new attorney, some hotshot from Columbus. They were trying to argue that I'd emotionally manipulated the kids. That I'd poisoned the relationship between parents and children. I brought it straight to my lawyer. She rolled her eyes. "This is desperation. They're trying to scare you." But still, I knew things were escalating. So I got more careful. I started writing everything down. Dates, times, phone calls. Every moment with the boys. Every message Jenna sent, including the one where she accused me of brainwashing Tyler with old school values. Yeah, she actually wrote that. Then something happened I didn't expect. Tessa, the babysitter Jenna replaced me with, reached out to me. She DM'd me on Facebook. At first, I didn't recognize the name. Then I remembered. She was the one Jenna said was younger and more in line with their style. Her message said, "Hi, Mrs. K. I know we've never met, but I used to babysit for Matt and Jenna. I don't know what's going on, but I thought you should see this." She attached screenshots. Messages from Jenna to her. In one, Jenna said, "Honestly, if my Amiel dies soon, that would solve everything. Not joking." Another one said, "I know the boys love her, but she's just old. Like, emotionally old. They need better influences." And the worst one, "I don't care what she's done for us. She's not family. She's baggage." I stared at the screen for 10 minutes. My heart was pounding. Not from pain, this time it was anger. I asked Tessa if she'd be willing to send those to my lawyer. She said yes. I didn't tell the boys about any of it. I didn't want them in the middle. But I was preparing for war now. That week, the school counselor reached out to me. She said Tyler had been withdrawn during class. She was concerned. When I sat with him that night, he finally told me what was going on. Mom said you stole us, he whispered. I felt my hands clench. I forced them to relax. What else did she say? That you're trying to make us forget them. That you're sick in the head. I held his hand. You know that's not true, right? He nodded slowly, but I could tell he wasn't sure. I told him I loved him. That I'd never say anything bad about his parents. That I just wanted him to be safe and happy. He looked up and said, "You're the only one who listens, Grandma." That night I didn't sleep. The next morning, I filed a new motion. I wasn't just asking for visitation anymore. I wanted joint custody. Not full. Not yet. But enough to protect those boys from more emotional damage. Jenna's attorney tried to delay the hearing, saying she needed more time. But the judge granted it anyway. It's set for next month. And I've got a folder an inch thick full of proof. They tried to cut me out of their lives. Now I'm making sure they never get to do that to the boys. A week before the custody hearing, I got a call from my lawyer that changed everything. Jenna filed a counter motion. She said, "She's alleging elder instability, saying you're mentally declining, emotionally erratic, and unfit to care for children long term." I sat there, holding the phone in silence. "She's trying to say you're losing your mind," my lawyer added. That was Jenna's new game. If she couldn't erase me quietly, she tried to discredit me completely. I didn't panic. I got smart. I scheduled a full medical and psychological evaluation at Cleveland Clinic. Blood work. Cognitive tests. Emotional assessments. The works. I passed all of it. In fact, the doctor said my mental acuity was above average for my age, and I showed no signs of instability, decline, or even mild memory loss. I had the reports notarized and ready to go. But something else happened around that time, and this one hurt deeper than anything Jenna had thrown at me. Matt called me. Not to apologize. Not to make peace. He wanted a deal. He said, "Look, if you drop the custody request, we'll let you see the kids every other weekend. Holidays too. Jenna's even willing to let you take them to church if that's still your thing." He said it like he was throwing me a bone. Like he was doing me a favor. I asked him one question. "Why did you marry her?" There was a pause. He didn't like that. "I'm serious," I said. "She doesn't like family. She doesn't want help. She wants control. So why did you marry her?" His voice cracked a little. "Because she made me feel like I was worth something." That hit me harder than I expected. Because I realized I'd spent my whole life trying to make Matt feel loved. Safe. Strong. And she made him feel powerful. I finally said, "You were always worth something. But if you think power is love, I can't help you anymore." Then I hung up. The night before the next court hearing, I got an unexpected visitor. Tessa. She showed up at my door with a manila envelope and a flash drive. She said she wasn't working for them anymore. Jenna had accused her of spying and fired her without notice. "I know I'm not family," she said, "but I care about those boys. And I think you should see this." Inside the envelope were screenshots of Jenna's online forum posts. Anonymous ones she never thought anyone would connect to her. Tessa had done the digging. And what she found was damning. Jenna had been posting for months in a private Facebook group for high-performance mothers, venting about how her husband lacked backbone, how her husband's pathetic mother was obsessed with the kids, and how she was strategically phasing out grandma's influence before the boys got old enough to notice. There were also posts about parenting decisions she made without telling Matt, like giving the kids melatonin to get them to sleep earlier, even if they weren't tired. One post even mentioned how she sometimes left the boys alone in the house for just 30 minutes, while she ran errands. I printed everything. Tessa testified voluntarily. In the courtroom, Jenna walked in confident as ever. She wore this sharp blue blazer like she was showing up for a job interview. Matt trailed behind her, eyes down. They expected me to be quiet, small. I wasn't. I laid out everything, the screenshots, the evaluations, the proof of how much time I'd spent raising the boys, the emotional damage done when they cut me off. The court-appointed counselor backed up my claims. Tyler had told her the same thing he told me, about feeling confused and sad when he didn't see me anymore. Then my lawyer dropped the final hammer. She showed a video from my house. I didn't even know she was going to use it. It was a clip from a week before, Tyler and Mason baking cookies with me. Just a few minutes of laughing, talking, helping each other, Tyler asking, "Can we always stay with Grandma?" The courtroom went dead quiet. Jenna's lawyer tried to object. Said it was emotional manipulation. The judge overruled. Matt looked like he wanted to disappear. But it wasn't over. Because after the hearing, as we were leaving, I saw Matt standing alone in the parking lot. He looked shaken. I walked past him without saying a word. Then he called out, "Mom!" I turned slowly. He walked up and whispered, "She's threatening to take the boys and leave the state if the judge gives you custody. Said she'll say I was abusive. That she has texts to twist if she has to." I stared at him. "I don't know what to do," he said. For the first time, I believed him. He was scared. Of his own wife. And I realized, maybe this wasn't just a custody fight anymore. Maybe this was something bigger. Maybe Jenna was hiding more than anyone knew. After Matt told me what Jenna threatened to do, take the boys and disappear, I went straight to my lawyer. We filed an emergency motion the very next morning for a temporary order of restraint to prevent either parent from relocating the children without court approval. The judge approved it within 24 hours. That stopped Jenna, for now. But I knew she was going to try something. I felt it in my gut. And I was right. 2 nights later, around 11:30 p.m., I heard my doorbell ring. Then a loud knock. Then pounding. I looked through the peephole. It was the police. 2 officers, 1 male, 1 female. They asked if they could come inside. Said they had a report of possible child endangerment and needed to do a welfare check. I let them in. The boys were asleep upstairs. I showed the officers their room, the kitchen, the food in the fridge, their packed school bags, toothbrushes, beds made, laundry done. Everything spotless. I showed them my court papers. My guardianship order. My medical clearance. They looked around and one of them said, "Honestly, this house is more stable than half the ones we get called to." I asked, "Did the caller give their name?" He shook his head. "Anonymous tip. But off the record? This feels like someone trying to stir up trouble." I thanked them, walked them out, and sat at my kitchen table until sunrise. I wasn't even angry anymore. I was focused. The final custody hearing was on a Tuesday morning. We had everything. Jenna had nothing new. Her attempt at using elder decline failed. Her social media posts, the messages from Tessa, and Matt's private conversation with the judge's mediator all worked against her. But the real moment? It came when the judge asked Tyler, privately, who he felt safest with. His answer wasn't dramatic. Wasn't rehearsed. He just said, "Grandma. She always listens." And that was it. I was granted permanent joint legal custody. The judge also placed a structured parenting plan into effect, one that included mandatory parenting classes for Matt and Jenna, weekly family therapy, and a formal evaluation of the home environment, supervised by social services. But it didn't stop there. The judge added something rare. Due to the emotional manipulation and false reporting by the mother, any attempt to interfere with the grandmother's custodial time will result in loss of custody for the parent responsible. It was like watching Jenna shrink in her seat. For once, she had no control. No spin. No audience. Just consequences. Matt didn't say a word as we walked out. 2 months later, I heard that Matt had moved out. Alone. Into a small apartment near downtown Akron. He showed up at my door one Saturday, no warning. He didn't say much. Just handed me a yellow folder with his name on it. Inside, his signed consent form for me to have full guardianship of the boys until they turned 18. No fight. No deal. Just surrender. "I can't protect them from her," he said. "But you can." He broke down crying on my front step. And I let him. Because as much as he hurt me, as much as he stood by Jenna when she tore me down, he was still my son. And maybe now he was finally starting to understand what being a parent actually meant. I didn't hug him. Not yet. But I told him, "You want to see them, you show up like a father. Not a broken boy." He nodded. And left. As for Jenna? She didn't take it well. She skipped therapy appointments. Ignored the parenting classes. Got flagged twice for being late to pickups. Then one day, I found out she'd been posting again, on a new forum. Complaining about the judge. About the rigged system. About how I had stolen her kids using sympathy and lies. Someone forwarded it to the court monitor. She was brought in for a review. And that was the final straw. Her supervised visitation rights were suspended indefinitely. No more overnights. No more unsupervised time. She had to petition for even basic visits. And even then, only if she complied with all the court mandates. She still hasn't. Last I heard, she moved in with her sister in Cincinnati. No job. No car. Still posting about how everyone betrayed her. Now it's quiet. Not peaceful, but real. The boys are thriving. They sleep through the night. They laugh more. They don't ask about Jenna much anymore. When they do, I tell them the truth in pieces they can handle. Matt comes every other Saturday. He doesn't bring gifts or fake smiles. He helps them with homework, listens to them talk about school, and sometimes, just sometimes, I see that look in his eyes again. The one he had when he was a boy and I made him pancakes. He's trying. So I give him space to try. As for me, I finally stopped trying to be invisible. I don't clean up messes that aren't mine anymore. I don't show up just because someone's too lazy or entitled to ask nicely. I have my name back on every contact form. Every school document. Every emergency plan. Not because I demanded it, but because I earned it. I still live in my mom's old house. I fixed it up. I planted sunflowers in the back. Mason helps water them. Tyler helps me paint the porch. We don't talk about Jenna much. We don't have to. Because I'm not just grandma anymore. I'm their home. And no one, no matter how cruel, careless, or clever, gets to take that from me again. Ever. It's been 13 months since the court gave me legal guardianship. Some days, it still doesn't feel real. Other days, I can't believe I ever let them treat me like I didn't matter. Like I was just a placeholder in their lives. Matt visits regularly now. Not every week, but when he comes, he stays. He doesn't check his phone every 5 minutes. He plays board games with the boys. He fixes things around the house. He shows up. He even came to Tyler's first baseball game. Sat on the bleachers right beside me. Didn't talk much, but cheered loud. Tyler hit a double. Mason waved a hand-painted sign that said, "Go Tyler!" with 3 crooked exclamation points. I made grilled cheese that night, and let them stay up to watch a movie. After they fell asleep, Matt asked if he could talk. He told me he filed for divorce. That Jenna tried to threaten him again, but this time he didn't fold. He showed me the email he sent her lawyer. It said, "I will not stand by and let my kids grow up afraid. I failed them once. Never again." I didn't cry when I read it. But I felt something crack open inside. A piece of the old Matt. A piece worth saving. Jenna didn't take the divorce well. She tried to play the victim again. Filed a motion to get back visitation, but the court denied it. Too many missed appointments. Too many red flags. The boys don't ask about her much anymore. Last Christmas, Tyler made a card at school. It said, "My family is Grandma, Mason, Dad, and me." Nothing else. He didn't forget her. But he knew who was there. That card is still on my fridge. As for me, I joined a local group for grandparents raising grandkids. There are more of us than you'd think. We share tips, stories, sometimes recipes. We laugh a little. Cry sometimes too. One woman said to me, "It's like we raised our kids twice. But the second time, we get to do it smarter." She's right. I don't let guilt run my life anymore. I don't say yes just to be liked. I don't show up for people who only call when they need something. And I stopped apologizing for taking up space. I won't lie. Some nights, I still think about how they made me feel. Sitting in that parking lot. Listening to Jenna say I wasn't needed. Watching Matt nod like it meant nothing. But I also remember how I got here. Not by begging. Not by yelling. By standing my ground. By showing up when it counted. And by refusing to be erased. Because revenge doesn't always come with slashed tires or screaming matches. Sometimes it looks like a quiet kitchen. 2 boys laughing over pancakes. A tired woman smiling as the sun rises. And the people who threw you away, realizing they'll never be welcome again. Not in your home. Not in your heart. And not in the place they once thought they owned, your worth. I thought it was over. I thought once Jenna lost custody, lost control, and lost her marriage, she'd go find another life to ruin and leave us alone. But some people don't stop when they lose. They only get louder. It started with the letters. Handwritten, no return address. I got 3 of them over 2 weeks. Each one nastier than the last. "You brainwashed them. You turned my boys against their mother. God sees what you're doing." That last one made me laugh. Jenna quoting God now? The handwriting was messy, like she was rushing, maybe drinking. I kept every letter and gave them to my lawyer. We filed a formal complaint with the court for harassment. The judge issued a written warning through the court, saying any further behavior like that would result in contempt charges. Still, she didn't stop. Then came the fake CPS call. An anonymous tip again. This time claiming I was keeping the children in unsanitary conditions. The same 2 officers showed up. Same result. The house was spotless. Boys were healthy. I showed them everything. They left apologizing, embarrassed to waste my time. One of them said, "This has to be your 3rd or 4th fake call, right?" I nodded. "You'd think she'd get tired." He looked at me and said, "People like her don't get tired. But they do get caught." That stuck with me. 3 days later, Jenna did something none of us expected. She showed up at the school. Alone. Tried to sign Tyler out early, said she was his mother, and it was an emergency. But the school had the updated custody file. My name. My authority. The front desk staff stalled her and called the police immediately. She was escorted off school grounds. And this time, she didn't just get a warning. She was arrested for violating a court order. Trespassing. Interference with custody. And because she got loud and shoved one of the staff, assault. It was on video. There was no spinning it. That was the final nail. The judge reviewed everything and called a final hearing. Jenna didn't even bother showing up. Matt was there. He didn't smile. He didn't speak unless spoken to. Just sat quietly beside me. The judge terminated all parental rights for Jenna. It's not common. It's serious. But in her case, the evidence was undeniable. Harassment, manipulation, emotional instability, and now criminal charges. The boys were made permanent wards of me and Matt, with sole decision-making authority placed in my hands. No more court. No more threats. Just peace. Real peace. The night we got the final papers, Matt and I sat on the back porch. Mason and Tyler were asleep inside. The air was cool. Crickets chirping. He looked over and said, "I'm sorry I didn't protect you." I didn't say anything right away. Then I said, "I'm sorry I let you think I didn't need protecting." We sat in silence a while longer. Then I asked, "Do you think she'll ever stop?" He looked out at the trees and said, "Doesn't matter anymore. She can scream all she wants. No one's listening." Sometimes revenge looks like fire and fury. Sometimes it looks like courtrooms and handcuffs. But the best revenge? It's when they try everything, and still lose. When the people they thought they controlled, walk away and never look back. That's what I got. Not just custody. Not just peace. Freedom. And the power to choose who stays in my life, and who never gets a second chance again.